Okay, so I mentioned in the video that I would do this. I'd add some contrast. I did that. I thought, I might as well just show you. So here we are. So I picked one of the shots from the shoot that I thought looked kind of gritty. This one, his eyes are a little dark. His sockets are a little dark here, but it's nice and kind of gritty looking. You can see the two lights on the side skimming his face, and just a little bit of the light showing on his face. It's really right above him. So here's the post-processing stuff that I would do. Here we are in Camera Raw. And there's just a couple of things. If you just want to do Camera Raw, you can pretty much get close just doing it all right in here. You don't have to worry about even going to Photoshop. But what you would do is, first is you would take the clarity, which is the mid-tone contrast really, and pump it up quite a bit. And it's going to give you some of the gritty look, so you can already see it coming in. Then you're going to take the contrast and you're just going to bump that way up. And so you can see it's kind of getting gritty. Let me just show you just what we just did. See, just those two make it look kind of gritty. But then what really gives it the feel is to go to the vibrance and lower it. And then it gets that kind of desaturated skin look. And I would even maybe raise the clarity a little bit more to make it, ooh, there you go, look at this. So there's after and before. After and before. So there's the before, and you add all this stuff, it kind of gets gritty. Now, if you wanted to do this, the long version, which is, it's going to create a little bit better look. Let's do that. Let's just start over. Here's the Camera Raw defaults. The one thing that I might do here is maybe use a little bit of fill light to just bring up a little bit of light. You can see his eyes just a little bit in there, but it also kind of lightens up the background. So let's do this. Bring up the fill light a little so we can see a little bit of his eyes in there, and then we'll bring up the blacks just a hair for the background. There we go. Now, I'm going to hit Open Image. Now, I have to be honest with you. I use a plugin. Okay? I use a plugin, and you can go download a free demo if you want from Nik Software. It's called Nik Color Efex Pro 3. And it, I've said in interviews before, if I had to be stranded on an island with one plugin, it would be this one. So, if you go to Filter, go to Nik Software and go to Color Efex, they have a built-in preset called, it's over here in my favorites, Tonal Contrast. And you can even see right here what it does for the image. Watch. All right, so that's just the default settings. I'm just going to click OK. So all I'm going to do is open up, choose Tonal Contrast, use the default settings just so it's a preset, and you get this super, super gritty look. The thing about the gritty look is sometimes, depending on where it is on their skin, it looks a little too gritty. So I love what it does to the side of his face and the one-day growth and all that kind of stuff and his hair. But right in the middle of his face, it looks like he got beat up a little. So here's what I do. I hit the layer mask icon. So I click on this icon right here. Then I'm going to get a paintbrush. And I'm going to paint at probably 50%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint away the effect, but I'm only going to paint away half of it. So it'll still have a little bit of the effect, but I'm going to paint it right in here. And as I paint, it kind of paints away just in this middle area right there. There we go. You see how it shows up in gray on the mask? So we didn't paint the whole thing away, but it kind of took away that bruised look from in there. Now, what would I probably do next? We can just go ahead and flatten the image at this point. And I would probably maybe try to bring out a little more detail in his eyes. So let's duplicate the layer. So I'm going to press Command J on Mac or Control J on PC. Then I'm going to switch the blend mode to screen. So now you can see his eyes. Of course, the whole thing looks like ugh, but you can see his eyes back in there now. So here's what we're going to do. Hold the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on PC, and we're going to click on the layer mask icon. So it hides the brighter version of him, the screen layer, behind this black mask. Now what you're going to do is get the brush tool, step 1. Switch to white, step 2. Go to 100% opacity, and we're going to paint over just his eye sockets. Let's zoom in a little so we can kind of see. And it's going to paint in there to bring that in just a little bit. There we go. And might be looking a little red in there, right? How do you get rid of the red? So this is tricky. Click over here in the layers palette. It's not tricky, just I've got a trick for it. How's that? Click not on the layer mask, which is chosen by default. Click on the photo. Now it's only going to affect where we painted, so just in the eyes. Now let's go to Image Adjustments and choose Hue and Saturation. And what we're going to do is go to the red channel and just take the reds out, except for one thing. There's a layer mask on there, so let's just go. Here we go. Let's go reds. and see if that's what's in there. Oh yeah, that got rid of it. That did it. Take the reds all the way down and look. The redness is gone. Let me just show you. Yeah, there we go. Now, it took the reds out of a little more than just, it took it out of here down here too. So what I would do is, let's get our foreground color set to black. Click back on the mask. Set your foreground color to black now. Let's make sure that that desaturation didn't affect. There we go. I just want the eyes that were, this looks okay. I don't want to make his skin look kind of gray there. There we go. All right. So now you have this little bit of drama in his eyes. And now, what if you wanted to make the background darker? Well, there's a couple of things that I would do first. I would do this. Let's go ahead and flatten the image. You don't have to flatten the image every time. I'm just doing this for ease sake. So how about if we darken everything else, like darken the edges? Filter, lens correction. And in the lens correction filter, which will come up here in just a moment with any luck at all. There it is. We're going to go to custom. And then you're going to go to vignetting. Now, if you have CS4, you won't have custom. It'll just be these controls. If you have CS5, you have auto correction and custom. You'll click on custom, and you're going to darken the edges of the photo. Just drag to the left and see how it's getting darker around the edges. Then the midpoint is how far the darkening extends in. There you go, something like that, and that darkens the edges. And click OK. Well, I'll show you. Let me turn on and off the preview so you can see. See how it's darkening? Puts the focus on him. And we have two more things to finish this effect off if you really want to do it right. Number one is I would do is duplicate the layer once, duplicate the layer again twice, and then we're just going to hide the top layer. Click on the middle layer. We're going to remove the color from the middle layer. So go to the image menu under adjustments and choose desaturate, wherever in the world it is. There it is. I'm used to using the keyboard shortcut, which is Shift Command U. There we go. So you desaturate. Then you lower the opacity to 80%, like that. Now, you go to the top layer. Make it visible again, but you change the blend mode from normal to soft light. And that really gives you the grid. Look at that. Mega gritty. Okay, so one last thing I would do, let's flatten one more time. Then we would go duplicate the layer, filter, other, high pass. We're going to bring up the high pass. We're going to use this for our sharpening. And just go all the way to the gray and then drag it to the right. So drag all the way to the left so it's solid gray. Drag to the right until you see lots of little detail come out, something like that. Then you're going to change the blend mode of this layer from normal to hard light, and you get the mega sharpening that you see right here. If it's too much sharpening, just go to the opacity amount and just lower that right here, maybe to 59%, something like that. And there you have the final super gritty looking image. Looks like somebody for an ad for Call of Duty, the video game. But anyway, there you go. I thought you guys would enjoy seeing it. I mentioned it on the video, and I hate to go, yeah, I would do this and I would do that, and then I just kind of leave you hanging. So nope, this time you get to get the bonus video. So hope you enjoyed it.